Breanna here with Westwind Counseling and Eating Disorder Recovery Center, and today I'm going to talk about ways that the eating disorder might try and sneak into your recovery. So sometimes we call these souvenirs that the eating disorder likes to keep, or things it keeps in its back pocket to try and sabotage all of the incredible work that you've done in your recovery. So here's some examples of what those things could be. A big one that we often see is preferences. So it's very natural and normal to have foods that you prefer more than others, but sometimes this can also be a really easy way for the eating disorder to kind of manipulate things or be really sneaky. So one way to kind of check in with yourself about whether this is a true preference or not could be thinking about, was this a food that you really enjoyed outside of the eating disorder? If you did, then it's likely that's a true preference, or is this a food that really only came into play when the eating disorder was at its strongest? That also might give you a clue. Another example could be eating enough, but only of eating disorder comfortable foods, or safe foods could be another way to say that. So we can get enough, per se, on the foods that the eating disorder enjoys the most, but this also keeps us really rigid and narrow in the foods that we enjoy, right? It's not allowing us to have variety and flexibility and spontaneity and all of those other really big parts that come along with eating. So, right, a way to check in with yourself could be, am I eating the same foods I've eaten when the eating disorder was at its strongest, but just in different amounts? Because if we are, then it might be worth exploring how to bring more variety in. Another way could be the eating disorder allowing food freedom, but only up to a certain extent. So this might be the eating disorder allowing you to eat whatever food you want, but only in a specific amount, or at a specific time, or in a specific environment or situation or circumstance. Where food freedom means that there are no conditions on what we're allowed to do, but the eating disorder might try and sneak in and create more rules and rigidity around food freedom. Another way that the eating disorder might sneak in is by not allowing us to have additions to meal or snacks. So this could be what sometimes we call like flavor enhancers. So not adding things like sauces and toppings and cheese or croutons or things like that, where those are the things that maybe don't add like bulk to the meal necessarily and really contribute to our overall nutritional intake, but they also make meals and snacks more enjoyable and more fun, right? Why eat food that doesn't taste as good as it possibly could? So these are just some examples of the way that the eating disorder might sneak into your recovery. There are many others, of course, but these are some kind of eating disorder souvenirs that might be helpful to watch out for.